Erratic is smiling now. Erratic is salivating right now. Erratic needs to make sure that he doesn't have certain medical conditions for 4 hours or longer right now. You know what I mean. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's that time again. We're jumping into some Phobies, so let's get to it. Hope everybody out there in Chatland is doing well. Hope everybody's weekend has treated them well as we gear up for another week. We're going to be jumping in. We're going to be working on trying to score back some of the points that I hemorrhaged. So last night, we didn't do great. I think we went -2 overall, and ultimately, I played a bunch of games today, and I went, once again, -2. I just haven't been doing very well. Some of the losses I had today, as the stream title indicates, were strictly due to, like, I woke up, I ate breakfast, and then I said, you know what, I'll play a couple games, then I'll make some coffee. Probably should have done that in the other order, we'll just say. So I dug myself a hole at the early part of the day before the stream, and we'll see what we do on stream. Get a little hydrate action going. So we're zoning in here on This May Sting a Bit. Sting a Little? I don't actually know which is the name of this map now that I'm saying that. Along with, like, all the maps have weird things on it, but, like, there are screaming fingers on this map. You can kind of see it down here. It's hard to get it to stay. I mentioned this last night, and I noticed this more when I'm playing offline. I don't know what causes the game to dim like this. Like, I don't know if people are seeing this, but the game is slightly dimmed. For the record, I also am starting to not like this opener. I think the Murder Wing is still appropriate. I think that sending the cat or some other one key this way is still appropriate. But I'm not a huge fan of this cassowary. I like having access to cassowary on this map. And in general, cassowary represents the potential for anywhere from 500 to over 1,000 damage. But, obviously, the 1,000 damage is not likely to happen. You're going to need to set it up with a spider or something, in which case your opponent had to have made a mistake, and a lot of things have to fall into place. But, I don't know what else I want to do on this map. Now, our opponent elected to continue to hold this position, and I'm a little curious as to why. Part of me wants to start going with either Flopsy or Mopsy on this map to start. That would allow the ability to, take this point, for example, and not immediately have to worry about it. Because unless in this case, our opponent followed up with Gravedigger, which I'm not real clear on why. But they did. We'll see. We don't really want to go higher than a 3 cost. The reason being is that we want to be able to get a 7 drop online. And this is part of the challenge. The challenge here is that I tend to go for a 2 drop here when I played this map in other instances. This can reach there. So I go for a 2 drop. That leaves me with 8 keys for the follow-up turn. That's fine, except I have literally no 8-key Phobies. So it kind of begs the question, well, why not just do a 3? But what 3 am I going to get in this scenario? I think it's realistically just Jar. I don't like Stabby here. We could go for Microscopic as a larger Gesundheit and then work its way onto the point. Maybe? I don't know. I play Creep instead of Cassio to counter Murder Wing. I do like Creep. And I have tried that on some occasions. It just doesn't quite come together for me in a lot of scenarios. I don't know. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I need to just do it more often. So we are still going to send in the Flopsy here. They have to commit with... So what'll end up happening is they're going to either put this or Murder Wing onto the point. And then that means that they then step on it with either Gravedigger or the Pterodactyl. It's probably Pterodactyl because we can't really punish that. And we got to move out so that way they don't get free shots with the pterodactyl or anything, as well as the gravedigger. The gravedigger has yet to break or build anything, so I'm a little curious as to what they're doing here. We're going to get our own pterodactyl online. I've now cycled back to being unhappy with pterodactyl, honestly. Is Hearthstone good? I don't know if you're trolling, ZJ. I legit don't know if you're trolling or not. Because we've had that discussion so many times. Zumi's saying, I hate this map. I lose on it like 70% of the time. Well, I've been losing on every map a lot lately, so... I guess I could say I hate all of them right now. But I don't. I mean, we're just kind of messing around. Sorry, I had to pop out my chat. That's why the sound cut out momentarily. So I think we're okay with trading our Flopsy for their Gravedigger, but they're not going to let it happen. So what are they doing? Like, why is this happening? I don't know that this is really what we want to do, but we're going to try something here. Oh, we absolutely don't want to do that, right? Actually, that's only 1,600. So they can't kill this right now. Like, we just kind of get that for freezies. Now, this will allow them to possibly go get up here. But if they run the cat... Like, they can kill our cassowary. But they're not going to kill the pterodactyl, which is the thing that I care about. So they probably kill cassowary and cat. Which is not great, obviously. But I'm not losing sleep over it. We're going to get the cowbell online in order to try and reclaim one of these points. We actually want it here, so that way it could possibly hit something on this spot if we absolutely had to. But this way it could fill back in, or backfill for the Murder Wing when it vacates. I've rushed someone and won on this map. It was when I had to play the 68 games. You can get very aggressive on this map. It is possible. What I've found, I've actually lost a few games today alone. Because... my opponent was able to control the majority of the panic points, and when I say majority, at least 4, for a good portion of the early game, and then rotate so that they're able to swing up. I'm pointing with my hand like you can see it. They can swing up basically where this cat is going, and then get in with a lot of, just a ton of phobies. So one of the things that had come up, actually, was against Alien Engineer earlier today, and they dropped Brony against me, and it just made the positioning really awkward. I think I played it, quote-unquote, well as I could, but at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do, and because I already had some of my forces committed to the bottom, because I needed to, and even if I clustered them, then I'm more susceptible to Brony, so they were able to launch a very strong invade, and it basically was over from there. So we're trading 1-drops here, which is fine, I guess. So now we control 4 of the panic points, so we can pressure our opponent a little bit. We're going to bring the Hevo in. They do have the opportunity, since they have 11 keys banked, to answer with something sizable. Something to specifically answer the Hevo. I'm expecting probably a Erratic, although it could be a Sparky. I'm not too concerned about either of those scenarios. I think we kind of want Murder Wing here, though. So this can't reach it. Their Murder Wing can't reach it. If this leaps to it, that's fine, I guess. We just want to be able to hit this wherever it lands. I don't expect them to go in. I expect this to just deter them from advancing, is basically the way this is going to go. Because this Primate could come in and actually cause a serious issue for us. It actually is it's a level 8, 514 damage. What level is our Cassowary? I guess they start out with the same amount of damage. Because ours is level 9, and it used to do 514, so, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Well, regardless, we see a Beauty follow-up, which is not what I wanted to see. I've lost a bunch of games today to Beauty. Beauty is very much a challenge to deal with. This is a level 6 in particular, but it has 2,500 health. 2,500. And Beauty is not... I mean, it's an ultra rare, right? Yeah, it's an ultra rare. So it's not a phobie that you'll commonly see. And as a result, I don't really have a great game plan against it yet. Like, I'm not really sure what I want to do. The obvious thing is get a bunch of damage, collapse on it, blow it up in one shot. But that isn't necessarily viable. Additionally, since it is not undead and it flies, your opponent can relatively easily reposition and then cause a whole bunch of problems for you. 1,600, huh? So this will do 6, 7... 12. Like, we won't even be able to kill this, so they didn't need to fear what we were doing. I think we have to get, like, Miss Moffat online. I don't know. 2,500 health is a lot. It's going to take time to build up the damage that is necessary in order to actually kill this thing. We have to be a little careful because they could hypothetically, like, move this in, leap, and then Beauty dive on it. Like, if we put it here, they could position Beauty here and be out of range of basically all our stuff. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I feel like we need a pull, but I do that fairly frequently, and it never seems to work out. So maybe that's not actually what we want. We're going to go with it for now, just because I'm unclear of what else we want to do. I expect them to take this bottom panic point, and then they can claim this top one, and then all of a sudden it's 3-2 the other way. I was tempted to move the pterodactyl here, that's why I was kind of hovering. And we probably should have, because this murder wing is going to go down here uncontested. And we at least could have killed it if the pterodactyl was here, because then we move the pterodactyl onto the block, move the Hevo back, and hit it. Because none of this is going to threaten it otherwise. Like, we're going to damage it, but that's not all that relevant. This is a little surprising. So 510, I'm rounding up, 510, 1,000... 5, 10, 15, 20. I don't know why I said 1,000. Like, in my head, I knew the right number, and I'm just saying the wrong number. Now, this is not quite. It might be enough to do it, though. Like, be enough for lethal. I don't know if this pole will work. Game. See, this is why... And we could have had the pterodactyl here. And this accomplishes nothing. What if we pull this? Now, we're going to get blasted by the line attack, but, I mean... Maybe we can get a free Beauty snipe? I think we do. And I think it dies on the lava as well. Oh, that is beautiful. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. Gotta feel bad on the other side, but you love to see it. Alright, so we're gonna follow up, get a little bit more damage. Hi, baby. Puppy's here. What's the matter, good girl? Hi, good girl. Now you can go lay down. Rip is right. You love to see it, though. At least on this side of the exchange. On the other side, that guy is mad. Yeah, they might be mad. They might be mad. Honestly, it feels good to do that to somebody else for once, because that's what's been happening to me for, like, basically the last 24 hours. I've lost a huge number of games. Now, like I said last night, we're just kind of fooling around, especially when I'm streaming, because I don't care. I mean, I care, but, like, okay, we lose some games, whatever. And even when I'm playing offline, it's like, I struggle to care about the ladder. Like, it just doesn't, the ladder is whatever. So, it sounds like a cop-out excuse, but honestly, it's just kind of not a big deal to me for a lot of this stuff. So I've lost a few games where I've gone, whoopsie, I let something big like my Hevo or whatever get pulled. Normally it's a pterodactyl, and then I just die. And it's a big old feel-bad moment. So they did not meatball here, which means they could actually kill this if we leave this here and we don't kill this. So we'll have to see how we can push enough damage. I don't think we can get the pterodactyl, but we're gonna make it an attempt. This body blocks so that, like, they can't hit with both this turn. I guess we just kill the thing. We're out of keys. Oh, we have max Phobies. Ugh, so we can't get a Clinico online yet. Something has to die. We might have been able to get this now. I don't think so. So the leap is down, but this could move up and pop this, and then the sheep goes on. So I think we actually move it back. So if they elect to kill our Murder Wing, that means that they are going to leave their Pterodactyl to die, because they can't one-shot the Murder Wing with the Pterodactyl, and nothing else can reach. Even something like a 3-move out of spawn. So we should be okay here. He said hopefully. Like, I'll trade my Murder Wing for your Pterodactyl. I think I'm okay with that. Now, our opponent is also out of keys. I mean, we still have 7 banked. So they're electing to do this, but I don't know where they're going to run. Because we're absolutely going to light this thing up. And then we just get the Clinico online so that we can get the heal. So the sheep is coming back to be defensive. Sure. This goes down to this Pterodactyl. We'll put the Murder Wing on it, and then we'll recap the point. This guy might swing back here just to keep, like, something tied up here, so that way they can't consolidate their forces. Because that's one way we could lose this. We're going to do this. We have to leave anyway. We'll get the Clinico as mentioned. Hey, Ando, what's good? So we'll get our heal, and then we'll get Hevo back into the mix over here. And our pole is online, so we have a few different options here for what we want to do. The leap is back online. But, so they can move here, they shoot it, and then they step on there. I think we do this. Like, they're going to cap this point if they want to. There's really not much we can do about it. So the question is, what can we yoink and eliminate? We are at max Phobies once again, so we're just going to wait it out for now. We do have to be a little cautious with the Hevo, because it is at only 1100 health. But this is very much going to come down to eliminating everything. I don't think this is going to matter for the panic points. The panic points are just pressure, so that our opponent feels like they have to do something. Alright, so they elect to do it with bow mangles, which I can understand. I don't think they want to do this, getting the erratic this close. The reason being is that we can move up only once, or only have to move up once, and then we can pull it onto this panic point and then lay into it. I don't think we have enough damage, because it'll be 1,000, say 1,500, 17, 21. Actually, we do. We should have enough damage to eliminate this erratic, and that should all but end the game. I mean, maybe they'll get a weird sheep hit. They definitely won't now. I'm losing too many rank points in async from 3048 to 2988. You sound like me in Arena. Sound like me in Arena. I actually need to run or at least start a bunch of async games so that way I can hit the various thresholds that are needed. Alright, so if we gotta go here. How much is this? 4? Actually, we don't even have to do this. So if you come here and whack this. 122. Oh, no, we do. Ugh, that's obnoxious. Oh, that's unfortunate. So now you'll die to the fire. I mean, I guess this is fine. This isn't the end of the world. This is going to be dead. It's these 3 against our team. And while this will be damaged, this heal will be up in a couple turns. We still have 4 keys remaining. Like, we have plenty of time. Our heart getting hit. I kind of wanted to move the Flopsy up, but if we move the Flopsy up just to get 1 hit in, this kills it in 1 shot and then steps on it. Now we retain control of the panic point, so they're not pressuring our life total at all. We could just wait for our abilities to come back online. Like, I'm not concerned about any of this. So, can we eliminate these? I think they're both like 1,600 health. This is almost 17. We might end up just leaving this here because it's not taking that much damage. This should kill it. Yep. We might have been able to do it a different way and been fine, but whatever. So we'll lay into this. We don't really need to move that. Yes, we do. We want to go here so that way they have to choose which they're going to hit with the gas. It's clearly going to be this. And then this is in position so that way it can gas it up, or remove the gas rather next turn. But yeah, it's weird. It feels, I mean, I guess it's not weird. I'm saying it's weird because that just feels as though it's the natural conversational transition, but, you know, all these games are designed to try and push you to 50%. So it's just, you're going to have some days where you feel like you are the god of Phobies, and then other days it's just not going to work out very well for you, and that's basically what happens. Wonder who's going to win here? You know, I've thrown from better positions than this player. Believe it or not, I have thrown from better positions than this. Although I don't think we can throw from this position. I feel like it would actually be more impressive to throw than to win from this position, honestly. But GG, we get the first win of the night, chat. We get the first win of the night, chat. Let's hope we can keep it rolling. Alright, what are we zoning into? So it looks like it's the same opponent. We've just flipped who's going first and second. Since we had the other one not quite zone in. But this one did, in fact, zone in. So we'll be going second here on Biff's room. And we see a stabby opener, oddly enough. I don't really know how we're going to contest this. So we could go droney and cap this, and then back off. Whatever they follow up with is not going to be able to kill the droney. Yeah, exactly, Onda. That's exactly it. It's unfortunate, but that is the cycle. So how do we answer this? We could answer with our own slow phobia. I mean, it could be stabby, it could be an unbearable. I don't really want to do that. This stabby's about the same size as ours. Yeah, it looks like the same one. Level 8. I feel like we want to go wide. Or wider. Wide-ish. So the stabby coming up this way does kind of split our forces so that, like, we can't necessarily go fight everything the way we'd want to. I kind of want to try this opener. I sort of expect our opponent to go 1-1-1 as a follow-up. But if we assume that they are a slower composition due to the start with stabby, that means that the... like, this should be better, right? It's actually not going to be. So what's going to happen here is this rolls up, hits this hits it, and then they stand on it. So how do we punish it? This might push them to, like, they have to go here, which still exposes them. I don't know that we really want Jar. I don't really like Jar in this instance. Just opened my first 2K coffee bean pack. My ultra rare was Russell. Nice! Russell is pretty good. Took me a month to save those beans. I actually like Russell. I mean, it's conditional, yes. I could absolutely see the frustration or consternation of it not being any of a bunch of other different phobies. But I think it's worth it. Okay, so we just threw away both of these. And we threw away the cassowary. They elected not to kill this, which I think makes sense. Like, I think getting the cassowary there is worth it. I don't think they want to do that. Yeah, like, this is a way better response. I mean, the jar would have worked too, but we're in trouble here. So no matter where this goes, it's going to die. We don't have the damage to actually fight this stabby now. Do we just die from this? How do we answer this now? I don't really like our own stabby as the answer, but I'm not real sure what else we do. Is Russell good with situation like a huge map to counter undead, slow movers, Serb, and erratic? I've talked about this before, but I could see, and I don't have Russell, so I'd like to see someone try this. But say you go Russell, like on a big map, you save up for Russell. So that Russell is one of your first phobies. On a big map, it's not actually that difficult to get to 8. Like, you have your opener, and then you pop Russell early on. You then hit their board. This is bad. We've lost this game, so I might as well explain what I'm talking about. So you get the Russell going. You poison all their phobies. They sort of panic. They maybe, or as a response, they move into mechanical phobies. Then you supplement it with all electrical phobies. And I wonder if that would work simply because now you pigeonholed them into a certain game plan, and then you can counter it, or you can be prepared to counter it in a certain way. See, this is why I need my own snowball. If we had snowball, we could have gone 1, 2, 3, spit, hit it with the jar, and possibly gotten this. Maybe not. Maybe we wouldn't have got it. So our opponent banked to 5, which is real bad given the humongous advantage that they have. They do have Fireball online. I don't really like this baby Snaky, but like I said, we've lost this game, so... Big map is best for Russell, I think, especially if there's main dimensional or undead phobia. Yeah, I don't think you can get Russell to work on a small map. I think it's too fragile. I was thinking the reverse, actually. You pop out a big mech like Hevo 2.0, they drop an erratic, you bring out Russell. The poison on Russell, I don't think is that great. Like, it just doesn't do that much damage. So the problem with doing that is I don't think you're going to be able to pressure them enough. Like, you'll poison the erratic, and unless you get it, like, as soon as it pops out of spawn, so it'll never make it, even then, the whole duration may not actually put it in a position where it makes a difference. I don't know. Yeah, we're in deep doo-doo here, chat. Wait, that did 520? Why did this take so much damage? I think we need the jar more. And we'll stem the bleeding a bit. We're going to lose the baby Snaky. They can now pull... we're going to lose baby Snaky and jar. So what they do is they... Okay, that's a little weird. What I was expecting them to do is they spud twice. Then they pull. They just poison Stabby. And then they run forward and fireball this. Okay, they figured it out, yeah. Oh my god, the muffin into the Clinico. Savage. Now, this jar was dead even if we didn't move it because they could dive. This is weird. Like, why wouldn't... Oh, no, Fireball's on cooldown. What did they Fireball? I thought they hit this. I guess not. All of our other range is, like, one move. I don't know that that's what we want, but if this way... So they're going to kill the jar by probably sending in Spud? No, they can't get it with Spud. They would have had to have gone in with the Spider, but the Spider couldn't do the damage they needed anyway. But they're going to be able to heal the Spider, most likely. I kind of expect them to be able to, so... So 4, 8, 12. Like, they can kill this, and then it's in range. So how do we punish them for that? I guess we go Gin Sting here. They can't kill the Murder Wing. They could get this, most likely. 809, 1209, 1270. Yeah, they can definitely kill this. We should be able to counter kill, and now we have panic point control. What I didn't expect is Russell having a one-tile ranged AoE attack. I thought he was going to shoot some feathers with his wings or something. Yeah, it's a little weird. Is he the only Phobie that... No, because High Five has something like that too, right? Okay, so they can get the Murder Wing. I don't know why I didn't think of Jar. Like, Jar is the obvious thing, right? I mean, we should still get their Spud in return, and this means that the Canine lives. So we advance Gin Sting, Bees, and then we should get both if they do this. I mean, the pole is back online, which is a little scary. There's a lot of mean things that could happen as a result of that. And Clinico is going to be online next turn to heal the spider. Yeah, Minotaur too. I forgot about that. Minotaur I forget about because I think I've literally only seen it once outside of the, what's it called? It's out of the challenges. Alright, so they're out of keys. Nope, we don't want to do that, I don't think. Probably do this. So the Clinico can heal something. This could go in and snipe our Jar. Honestly, part of me wants to go Jackalope King. The reason I'm considering that is... So they probably kill the Canine here. So the reason I was considering the Jackalope King is because of the low quantity of Phobies remaining. But this might be okay. How does the Heartbreaker skill work? Do we decide when we're going to teleport the enemy Phobie? Yeah, it's an activated ability as far as I know. I don't have it, but I believe that's the case on it. Yep, exactly. Yeah, you can just yoink something and teleport it into an Abyss tile, which is brutal for... I remember playing against a Hevo 2.0 and a Heartbreaker, and it was just like, okay, I can't hang back because you'll boop me, and I can't advance because you'll teleport me into nowhere, and it's like, what exactly am I supposed to do? And the answer is basically, well, don't let them get to that point, dummy. But it's generally easier said than done. So they can kill the Murder Wing. They can kill the Murder Wing. But that'll put them in range of the Gin Sting. And, like, I mean, only one of these. I think it's worth getting the Spud for this. After this, we might just back up and say, okay, we have all 3 panic points. You only have 2 Phobies. Commit into me. Was that me? I use Hevo 2.0 and Heartbreaker any map with murder holes? I don't know. It's possible, Roxbridge. It was a while ago, like 2 seasons ago. It was the first time I saw Heartbreaker, and I remember just in my head screaming, what the hell is that? Like I said, I read the ability, and I'm like, what exactly am I supposed to do about this? Alright, opponent. Good luck. We could have boxed them in further with the cowbell. But, like, this is fine. It's gonna pull this out of position, and now we just kill it. So, either way, they were kind of hosed. I mean, you know, as I really thought this game was going the wrong way, but we managed to pull this. Yeah, this was a nice comeback, because I was convinced that this game was over. That's why I started talking about other stuff, because I thought we threw so hard. I really thought we threw this game, chat. See, I think the key for me playing Phobies is to not actually... Like, I have to not pay attention just the right amount in order for it to be right. But if I pay attention too much or too little, like, you gotta find the sweet spot. GG is right. That was a close game. I don't know how we pulled that back. Honestly, so chat, and I may... If you're out there on YouTube watching this afterwards... Is sheeping gas bad? Like, real talk, I'm not trolling here. Is sheeping gas bad? Because we've all seen some good sheep hits. I've gotten some people have connected against me. We've observed games where a sheeping gas has turned the tide or just sealed a game or whatever. But the majority of the time when I see sheeping gas, it's like, you just wasted 4 keys. You don't like it, Shrimp? It feels like it's just tanky enough to, like, trick you. To lull you into complacency that, oh yeah, well, it can tank a couple hits and then I'll get in. But inevitably, your opponent just... They set up a concave, it connects with maybe one thing that's either irrelevant, gonna get healed, either healing spa or actual healing, or it's undead and healthy enough that it just tanks it. I don't know. For me, sheeping gas is my 4 keys used to kill your 6 key erratic, otherwise I don't like... Honestly, I don't like sheeping gas into erratic, because I play a lot of erratic. A lot. I haven't lately, but for a while, because erratic was my only 6 key for a very long time. And the vast majority of the time, I'd be like, okay, hit me with the sheeping gas. I will tank the poison. And yes, if you have a way higher level sheeping gas, okay, you got me. But like most of the time, it feels as though an erratic can tank the poison. And it just doesn't, I don't know, it just constantly feels like sheeping gas doesn't do enough. And it's weird because there are absolutely games, like I said, like I had a game, I mean this is going back a little bit, but I remember it on Penny Dropped, where I killed something so that I could send sheeping gas into a cluster of like 4 units and killed 3 of them, and then the next one died to poison on the following turn. It's like the game turned around immediately. But how often does that happen? I don't know. It just constantly feels like sheeping gas is more effort than it's worth. The only effect is force you to reposition your phobies to not get gassed. Yes, it just feels like there are better ways to do that most of the time. He dies by the end of the poison though. Let's say it's medium large map, you sheeping gas erratic and you run. You typically don't. So, like, if you hit it, like, we have level 8 against level 8. It's going to go in, the sheeping gas. You're going to hit for 600. Then, it's going to do another 1800. So, total of 24 and change, right? That would kill it, except you heal because you're killing the sheeping gas. You actually outlive the gas. Now, I'm not doing the calculations right now. Maybe at even levels... Maybe I'm always hitting sheeping gases that are under-leveled for me, so that way the poison isn't doing enough. Now, a single hit from anything, you know, like a stray jar hit, will kill you. Like, it does happen. But most of the time, it kind of feels like you just incinerate 4 keys, and that's it. Ends up living with like 70, 80 HP, I see it a lot. Yeah, that's what I think it does. I don't know, and for most of us, this doesn't matter, because we're not all at level 1s, and none of us are all maxed out, right? So, it really comes down to what are the levels in question, the level of the erratic or other thing versus the level of sheeping gas. But I'm curious, when we're all at level 20 maxed phobies, what is the relationship and will it matter? Like, does that change? If it ends up you live and it's, you know, something has to sneeze on it to take it out, okay. And maybe that's fine. But It just feels like it's such a narrow use case that, oh, I connected with their sheeping gas, and my entire team is so far away that Erratic can't heal, and on top of it, I didn't lose the entire board in the process of running my entire team away. I don't know, it feels weird. I almost never use poison at all. Yeah, I don't... I've soured a lot on poison. Disease, understandably, has low damage output numbers because you can't get rid of it, and if it was as high as poison numbers, then it would, A, invalidate poison, and B, would also be super obnoxious. But poison, 9 times out of 10, it feels like it's not worth it to me. So, for example, creep into stabby. You would think that, oh, well, that's a great trade. I'll trade my 2 key for your 3 key. It'll just take some time, but I'm going to take it down, and you may not, depending on the levels, even be able to kill my creep back. Most of the time they will be able to because of the reflect damage and then 2 hits from stabby. But the fact of the matter is that that stabby will never die to that poison. It has to be a map without a healing spot, A, and B, your opponent has to allow it to die because there's Clinicos, there's Muffins, even Dr. Dermic just to keep it alive. Poison feels like it sucks because there's healing ability. Yes, and there's going to be... If you removed healing, then poison would feel broken. Like that, I think that's what ends up happening. If you remove healing, like let's say they nixed every single healing phobie. Like every poison phobie is now busted, right? I don't know. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it certainly seems like it. Alright, so we're actually going to try this new opener that we saw in the earlier replay. Actually like Henrietta on something like a stabby. I don't mind it. I think the, what is it, Sockassin would probably be better just because the poison ticks faster for higher damage numbers, whereas the Henrietta damage lasts forever and probably does more overall. I don't know the numbers offhand, but let's assume that it does more, but it takes longer for it to happen, so therefore your opponent has way more time to actually get stuff going. It's just one of those mechanics, comparing it to card games, because that's my background, or mostly my background. Ultimately, there are some mechanics that just, they can't be good because of the way that they have to function. Like, they're either bad or they're broken, and there's no real in-between, because, say poison hit either the end of your turns or the start of your opponent's turn, like before they get to take an action. That would probably be busted, right? You'd have to change all the numbers, and then you might have to make them suck anyway, and it would probably be super frustrating as the poisoned player, the person getting poisoned, that that's happening to you. Like, it would feel super busted. But with it acting at the end of your turn, it just feels terrible. And I don't know that there's, like I said, that there's a great way to fix that. So we want to get to 7. So we can't do anything bigger than a 3. This is a 472 droney. We will have to meatball it, which is kind of annoying. The reason we want to get to 7 is because we want to get Pterodactyl online. I think you should make Dimensional Phobies take triple poison. I mean, the problem is, like, that doesn't actually fix the issue. You could make them take 1,000 times poison. Dimensional Phobies have no hard counter. I don't know that I feel that things should have a hard counter. It's one thing to have a counter. It's another thing to have a hard counter. So just to clarify, and this may be what you mean, Roxbridge, and if it is, then I apologize for repeating your point. But a hard counter to me means that, like, you literally cannot answer it. It's just, they have this thing, it immediately answers it, and it's game over. And that's not good. Because it sets the game into such a weird binary state that it makes the game unfun. Yeah, you can't do that, because I'm just going to kill it with a Murder Wing and then reclaim that point. Yeah, you can do this. So the Alistor is actually pretty problematic. I don't know how we're going to answer this. We're going to leave this here so that way we can kill their droney. This is 470. Wow, this will live by 2 health. Get out of here. That's so obnoxious. How are we going to kill this Alistor? Like, we just need to blow it up in a single turn. I just don't think we're going to have the damage to do that. Like, we could get a spider online next turn, but they're never going to expose it in a way that we're going to be able to do 1500 in a turn. Or they shouldn't. Are we going to see some assassin droney action here? I wish, but we are literally 2 damage points short. We're going to do 470 to a 472 health droney. Don't anybody tell me levels don't matter. Dimensional have bonus strength and their weakness isn't bad enough. I don't know if they get any other bonuses. Like, do they have bonus health comparatively? Like, if we assume monster is the baseline, like, does stabby have more health? Well, stabby's probably not a good example, because I imagine stabby in particular has more health than a typical dimensional phobie, because of the reflective ability it's supposed to. I think, I mentioned this before, I do think stabby deserves a slight nerf. Usually dimensionals have less health. That's what I thought, DT, but I could be completely wrong. Stabby, I think, needs a damage debuff. Where it needs its damage debuffed. That's my big issue with it. I think the only dimensional phobia have is their... I think the only bonus dimensional phobia have is their death damage. That's probably correct, Donda. Alright, so this is going to guard this top panic point, because it can. I'm going to rearrange stuff. 1, 2, so you can hit it, you can hit it. We don't actually want that there, because then this could die by an invading stabby plus this. So they may reclaim this point and try and do something cute with the gargles. We're going to go for our spider. Try and get a little spider action going. If we can yoink anything, it'll hopefully help us snowball. I'm just so sick of stabby and snowball. Snowball is really strong as well. I think it's just, it happens to be dimensional. I don't know that making it not dimensional is a significant enough nerf, but I think snowball, like, if it were monster, it would still be really strong. It does not have to be the way it is. Maybe stabby passive should be 25%? Possibly. I don't know if it's the reflect or just the damage output. The damage output is also very, very good. So I'm pretty sure this blocks targeting for me, the gargles. I'm not sure. Yeah, we can't get that. Now, I don't think this can stand on this. Even if it could, 4, 8, 12, 13, we'll say. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can't reach. So we could do this. I just want to soften this up so we can actually kill it on a later turn. Right now, we can't do that. Part of me wants kind of to go Morty here. I'm not going to lie. If we go 6, doesn't really get us anything. I think we go with Stairmaster so that we can push a bunch of damage. You know, like, if this Alistor ever gives us a window, we could yoink it and then blow it up. I mean, it's a lot of that Ghost Phobia with 100% lifesteal. This one, yeah, Alistor. This and Grimes seem to be the boogeymen of the general Phobies community. Like, these are the ones that people hate the most. And, I mean, I can't really fault them, right? They're very good. They are very good. I use Woolly Bully to counter. I'm not sure if there's a better counter. I could see a debuff working against this pretty well. I could see debuffs going pretty well. I booped Stabby and Sheep and then they surrendered. I probably would too, Forgo. That's pretty rough. That's 7 keys just incinerated. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. It's sort of an assassin droney. It's sort of an assassin droney. Wait. 1, 2, 3. So they can't get here and boop. Not like it particularly matters. Our pole is down for now. So we're going to keep pressuring them. Pressuring their heart, that is. They're down to 4,700 health. They're a little bit under half. So this is okay, I guess. They can't connect with our Pterodactyl with anything else. Stabby's just going to die. The Gargles pops out at the start of our turn. So one thing I notice is that some of the cooldowns, or the remaining counters for some of the abilities, don't always show very well. Like, this says 3, it has an X1 here, but like Mud, for example, doesn't seem to change the way I'd expect it to, which is a little obnoxious. It's not the end of the world, but... Rookie Droney Assassin, or Rookie Assassin Droney, yeah. I think it's better because you still have the Droney, yeah. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. So this should pop out this turn, I think. Sometimes it's a little weird for me to figure out, like, exactly what the cooldowns are communicating. So we unfortunately, like, we could cap this point and then pull the Rambolina back here. I don't think I'd hate that. So the sheep getting in position probably makes sense. I don't think we can kill it. So they're sending the Alistor. I mean, the pole is down, so if they're going to do it, now is the time. But I think sending the Dronies better for them. We're obviously going to try and dodge the boop. So we need to have this not here. And we need to have Spider not in a boopable position. That is probably not where you want that Alistor. I imagine we'll find a way to kill it if you put it there. Alright, so Gargles is live, so to speak. Are we gonna get another Droney kill? No, we're not. Ah, it's 2 points short. I mean, we could get it with the Contortio, but that's not as much fun. Where's the Alistor? It's there. Alright, we're gonna get it with the Contortio. This isn't as much fun, but we were just short of getting it. I think we take this bottom one, because they have nothing that can really contest it, whereas they could kill it somewhere up here. So they have 11 keys banked, which is not what we really want to see. Now, they could Rambolina boop, but nothing's going to die as a result. And they can't connect with the sheep this turn. Now, they could kill the Murder Wing, but that means that Rambolina or Alistor is going to get yoinked. So I think we're okay with that. It's good pressure. He probably feels like he's drowning. Yeah, I think that's probably the case. If I were in their position, I'd be panicking right now. Truthfully. Gotta level your Droney. I don't know if I have any Droney levels available right now. I definitely don't have the experience right now. I burned a lot of it earlier today. Might force out a bunch of low-cost Phobies just for map presence. honestly, I think that is a good play, Rox, but I don't see a lot of people do that. Like, they just don't. Oh, buddy. Who's talking about Heartbreaker? That seems bad. So what is considered within range to an unoccupied tile adjacent to your unit? Okay, so they get to choose, and it will clearly be an abyss tile. Yeah, oh no is right. Oh no. Does he fly? Heartbreaker's not flying, right? No, doesn't look like it. It also does 600 damage. Like, get out of here with this. Now, it does have a 2-turn warm-up, we'll say, as opposed to a cooldown. So it's not going to be available next turn, I don't believe. Beside myself, yep. This guy's a jerk. This guy's a jerk. So I don't think we can get the Alistor. We're going to make an attempt, but I don't think we can do enough damage to it. We might be able to, but... Yoink. A meatball. Yes, we can get it. So that means this moves here. This will die. This won't die. Well, it will. I don't know that this is worth it. We're trading the Stairmaster for the Alistor. We should have done this differently so that the Murder Wing hit it, but I wasn't sure that we were going to get it and just took too long. Like, I just took too long to do the turn. Otherwise, we could have undid everything and then let the Murder Wing take it down. Yeah, he's absolutely going to stay on the Abyss. It's available next turn. So they're just going to push or they're going to pull everything there. So yeah, the Stairmaster dies, clearly, right? Like, one way or another, it's dead. Our opponent still has 5 keys left, so I'm a little concerned. It might have been worth going Cyclops here. This lived at 1, but it's going to die to... whatever. So we're just gonna go for the heart. They're under 2k health. Yeah, they're gonna die of heart damage. I'm not gonna bother. Like, I'm gonna have to kill some of these Phobies just to, like, get them out of the way, sort of thing. But we're still up 4-1. Can we get them this turn? Because this is 1,000. Yeah. We got him, chat. GG. Just kept the pressure on. I mean, that's sometimes the answer to these high-end Phobies, is just end the game before they can do something. So, GG. Heartbreaker? No, no, no. Not happening. Heartbreaker has to come out earlier, at least if map presence is even. Heartbreaker is a stalemate breaker. I picture it in the same way that you look at Miss Moffat, you look at, I mean, even Rambolina Boops, other yoink effects like Smother Mother, or there's one other one that I'm forgetting, I think. But point is that you get into these battle lines, and these standoffs, and then you deploy something like that, and you go, yep, that thing's out of there. I think Heartbreaker was too late to come. It was probably a Hail Mary, but the thing is that we got multiple eliminations with the Spider. Honestly, even just getting the Stabby, which seemed somewhat irrelevant, it's like, okay, you got 3 keys, who cares? But now that's a lot. At that point in the game, they didn't have a whole lot of board presence aside from that, so we ended up taking that away from them and doing it safely. The Spider got 2 pulls. Like, if you can get 2 pulls with a Spider, you're probably in good shape. Yeah, it was a lot of, because how much is Heartbreaker? Like 9 keys? It's either 8 or 9. Yeah, it's 8 keys. Like, that's an enormous investment. That being said, Beside Myself is an incredible ability. It's an incredible ability. You can do it from, like, basically anywhere, and you'll do it safely. And then you just yoink whatever their best unit is, and yes, they might counter-kill your Heartbreaker, but the whole point is, because it's so fragile, the whole point is that you break the stalemate, so, like, you yoink their big thing, follow it up, they go in for your Heartbreaker, they can't do as much, and then you just rout the rest of their team. At least that's the idea. Now, to be honest with you, I haven't done a tier list. I don't know what this one is, but if I had to do a tier list, I'd probably say Beauty and Boss are the best 8 drops. Maybe Dozer is okay. High Five is alright. Mildred is weird, so it's difficult to evaluate it. I think Russell is just so niche that you have to, like, so whoever got it earlier, I do want Russell so I can try certain game plans. That one's Yeti? Okay. Heartbreaker name really suits him. Yoink something, just break the enemy's heart. Exactly, Honda. Exactly. But, like, and then Barzilla. Barzilla I have trouble with because my collection doesn't, and my gameplay, I guess, also factors in. I just have difficulty fighting the high health enemies, so it's kind of rough sometimes. I don't really know what Yeti does, like, I have no idea. And Dozer's kind of weird. There's actually a lot of 1 move. So this is 2 move. Whoop. 2 move, 1 move, 1 move, 1 move, 2 move, 2 move, 2 move. Is this 2? This is 2. So I guess there's not that many 1 moves. It just feels like a lot because there's not that many 8 drops. Alright, chat, we'll jump into another one, then maybe do another game review. Like I said, I want to get all of the Fright Night ones at least recorded, and then we'll go from there. Yeti has freeze. I could see that. You can see Yeti in the option menu? Really? Mildred seemed OP when I first saw it, but now I don't think it's that good. Mildred is another... You have to look at it as like a siege engine, I guess. You know, you're probably only getting 1 Mildred hit, right? 1 relevant Mildred hit. Because after that, the game is going to be decided one way or the other. Either you connected with a solid hit and your opponent just lost everything, or virtually everything. Or you only got crap and it's like, okay, well, everything's out of position. Now, like the Mildred's got to reload. It's not worth it. So it has niche uses, but I don't know, like, I don't think it's that great. For example, like, I actually beat it on Lights Out, which is a small map with a lot of places where you could hypothetically lob defensively from. It's still not great. I don't know. Beauty is horrifying. The moment my opponent popped out a level 14 Beauty, I started questioning all my life choices. Yeah, Beauty is ridiculous. It happened on Friday, I guess. I was streaming, and I said, wow, our opponent banked to 8 keys. What are they banking to 8 keys for? And then immediately DT's in the chat and is like, a question you don't want to ask. And then they immediately crap out Beauty, and I'm like, oh. That's why they have 8 keys. Yeti looks like a bird because he has a beak and 3 eyes? Really? That reminds me of the crow from Darkest Dungeon. Shout out to my Darkest Dungeon fans. That was one of the roaming bosses, and that guy was a dick. There was a giant mutant crow that had multiple eyes, and when I say giant, this thing was like pterodactyl-sized crow. Is Yeti the one with tentacles around his face? That seems... I don't know. I can't even think of a phobia that has that. Honestly. But based on the other description... Oh, Rocket Man? I mean, I guess, yeah, that one has tentacles. But yeah, I don't think I've seen Yeti. Yeah, Starro, exactly. Starro the Destroyer. At least I think that was the name, right? My usual game plan on this map has not been working out. I'll be honest with you, chat. It's not been working out. I don't know that I like this one better. But what I've been doing hasn't been working, so we're going to try something different. In-game, his skin is red and he has fur all over his body. When you use the freeze ability, his face turns to blue? Interesting. I play versus a Phobie that freezes one tile away. I don't know why he had tentacles. Yeah, that's probably Rocket Man. It has a melee freeze. You have Jeeves, the walrus-looking thing, that has a ranged freeze. Well, it's a trap. You have Rocket Man, what we're calling Starro, and then you have the one that was mentioned. Jeeves is a bastard? Yes. Jeeves is kind of a dick. Alright, so we can't even safely take this point because they'll pop out a... what's it called? Murder Wing. And then just blow up our duder here. So we're going to get more one-drops online. It seems silly, like, we put out Flopsy in order to claim these points, but then we're putting out a one-drop in order to also claim points, but I don't really want to... I don't really want to send Flopsy in yet. Hey, Crazy, what's good? We actually did your Fright Night game earlier. We were doing your third round Fright Night game earlier. Still remember that Cerberus Jeeves game? That's one for the history books. That Cerberus Jeeves game, I think that replay or game review is going up this week. Was it good? I hope it was good. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We'll see. We'll see if everybody likes it. Alright, so we'll take our 3 keys. Trade them out. I don't know how we're going to get this Murder Wing effectively. So they can counter-kill this, but I highly doubt they will. Because then a lot of bad things probably happen to them. So we're moving the Murder Wing here, so that way we could pop over the top here, Meatball, and then go in with Cassowary in order to kill their Murder Wing, if they allow it. I highly doubt they're going to. Like, it's more likely that they just run away, but the other option would be they dive to try and kill our Cassowary, which would still get their Murder Wing killed. But I don't think they're going to do either of those things. They're probably just going to walk away. Cerberus, we're still here just to suffer, can't feel our legs. Day 47. Still frozen. Stairmaster is my favorite Stimhogger on this map. I can see that. I can see that. So I think our opponent is going for Beauty or something similar. It's going to be something mean. So they could kill either of these. Honestly, they might be able to get both. So they could pop out a jar and get both of these because they hit this once and then stand on it. I think that's okay. I don't like it. Yeah, they just pop out a jar. But that delays whatever their game plan is. Because they're banking for something. I just have no idea what yet. I mean, if they go Pterodactyl here, Yeah, there it is. Oof. Ha! It lived! It lives! That feels bad, man. Like, that's gotta feel bad. Oh, no. We're just gonna get this off the board. I mean, now this thing is going to die, but, like, okay. This will funnel them this way if they want to chase, which I doubt they will. Since when could you fly over the heart? It feels like when it feels like when I first started playing that you could not do that, but it's been there a while. I could have sworn that at one point in my playing career you could not do that, but that doesn't seem to actually be the case. The Flying Phobie gang, exactly. So we have 10 keys, they have 9. We have an advantageous board position, both in terms of the panic points as well as phobies. So we'll see if we can put something together here. In general, I don't love one-movement phobies. I feel like good players abuse you when you dump a lot of keys into them. If you dump a lot of keys, yes, but the key is to not dump a lot of keys, right? I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but it definitely can be done. So we're trying to keep this alive. They banked. I do want to get something else small out in order to reclaim points. We don't want to send it this way, though. The reason we don't want to send it that way is it makes it more likely that they're able to kill something for free. Like, they could send in the cat and then fly over, and we might not be able to deal with it. Because we wouldn't be able to stand on the bones. Here, they can't get to it in any way, and we could go take this middle one, or the middle one, or the bottom one. And we're banking more keys than they are at this stage. Bowmangles is a good one-move phobie, so are zombies. Yeah, the one-move phobies are one move for a reason, right? Like, they're good. But the thing is that you have to utilize them properly. You can't just throw them around and hope, like, an entire army that just... There's a reason zombies aren't actually threatening, right? You can just literally walk at a brisk pace away from them, and that's kind of what it amounts to. Sucky when I want to break someone's spirit. I had someone open Sucky against me today on The Floor is Lava, and I was like, oh, that might be cool. I wonder how that's going to work. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out for them. I don't know that we actually want Erratic, but they only have 3 keys left. And Erratic directly counters this. It feels like it's okay. This could be bad, honestly. But I figure this way, we're controlling all the points. They have to do something. Stabby gang, Mangles is just a clown. I mean, show me the lie, right? Show me the lie. This map is great. I do think Bowmangles is up there, but right now, I think Stabby is... I would put Stabby, assuming levels are the same. It feels as though Stabby is better. That being said, I only ever see Bowmangles at a really high level. But it feels like the damage output from Stabby outweighs the slight amount of extra hit points that Bowmangles has. L Clown Bozo, W Voodoo Chad. I like that. Speaking of Bowmangles, I'm not real sure why they went Bowmangles into Erratic. I'm a little confused. But, I mean, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. So this will hit for 514, 927... 1327. Point is that they're not going to kill this. We could just pull back and say, you need to deal with me. We're definitely moving this up, right? Do we just pull this back? I think we just pull this back and say, all right, you need to commit into me. Because they can't take the middle or the top point, and we still have 3 keys left. So we could send out some other 1-key units to reclaim points if we have to. Erratic is smiling now. Erratic is salivating right now. Erratic needs to make sure that he doesn't have certain medical conditions for 4 hours or longer right now. You know what I mean? I don't have Stabby, but it's no contest. Bo is a good Phobie. Stabby is an OP Phobie. I don't know that it's OP. Like, now I tend to be, like, how do I want to put this? I guess I just play it safer. That's not really, it doesn't sound right. I don't know. I just don't evaluate stuff that way. It's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, this thing's overpowered. I think, by definition, it is overpowered if it is better than it should be. But I don't think it's like, oh, this thing is so broken that it's ridiculous. When I think overpowered, I'm thinking like, you cannot beat this thing. Verging, like, broken would be a beyond overpowered. Overpowered would be close, but, you know, the tier below it. And then really strong, busted, other adjectives, you know, those would be other ways to describe it. You could insert a ton of different things, right? Stabby should be nerfed, let's say that. I am coming around to that idea because it really feels like opening Stabby in one way, shape, or form. GG, we got there. Yeah, I don't really know why they committed Bo Mangles into an erratic other than, like, this is the best phobia I have. So, but GG. Yeah, I don't know that... Stabby is just real strong, right? Like, Stabby is really good. But I don't know that I would say that it's... I don't know that it's oppressive. But I could, if Stabby got nerfed a little bit, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it needs to lose like 300 damage or something like that, or 400 health or whatever. But just a little bit, it feels like it invalidates, because the nature of phobies is like, why would you ever use an inferior phobie? There's basically no scenario, or verging on no scenario, where using the alternatives for a given purpose is valuable. It's almost always like 99.9% of the time you do this, except for maybe this niche scenario, right? And I think Stabby kind of dominates that space of the early game turret, and it's very difficult to dislodge. Now, here's the thing to consider, though. Here's the thing to consider, chat. Let's assume that Stabby gets nerfed. Whatever it happens to be. Lower health, lower damage, lower reflect, whatever. Stabby gets nerfed. Are we in a better state than we were before? Because then does Bo Mangles just assume that position that Stabby was in? And if Bo Mangles does, are there more or less answers to it? Like, there are more electrical phobies, and I think the electrical phobies are better answers to mechanical phobies than poison phobies are to dimensionals. So maybe we're better off. But honestly, I haven't put enough thought into it as to whether the world with a nerfed Stabby is better or not. Because I am, and this is just me, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, I don't really care that everybody opens Stabby. It doesn't bother me that it's boring because it's meta or it's whatever. However, a lot of people do feel that way. Again, I mentioned on many occasions I come from a card game background. The reason, aside from making money, but there are other reasons for rotating sets and formats, and so that new sets come out. Because most people get sick of playing the same thing all the time, with or against. Most people are not like me, where I will play the same damn stuff over and over again for the sake of it. Because I like that stuff, and I'm going to do what I like. And maybe on an infinite timeline, if I live forever, then I would eventually get sick of it and have to rotate it. But most of the time, I'm fine with playing the same thing. I still play games from 20 years ago, and I still love them just as much. But most people aren't that way. Most people want the variety. So if no other reason, ignoring balance, ignoring power level, ignoring, strategic advantage, it might be worth nerfing Stabby if it becomes the dominant play pattern just because people are sick of it. Like that might be valuable. Stabby's built different. That being said, Bow Mangles will eventually outclass Stabby in stats, which is why people go for high-level Mangles. But which stats, I guess, crazy. I mean, yes, it's going to get more health, but it only... So, a lot of Phobies at max level, if we go to that discussion, is going to be dancing around breakpoints. So, two Stabby hits means that this thing dies. And excess damage doesn't account for anything, right? Like, if you deal 1,000 damage to something with 10 health, who cares? It's still dead. So, if Bow Mangles has extra health, but that doesn't get it an extra attack worth of survivability, it's irrelevant. In which case, the reflection from Stabby is way more valuable. So if it takes 4 hits to kill Bow Mangles and 3 to kill Stabby, that's one thing. But if Bow Mangles has 500 extra health, but at max level, that means that it still takes only 3 hits from insert thing to kill it. And it takes those same 3 hits to kill Stabby, Stabby is better. It just won't matter most of the time. It will some occasions, but, Speaking of poison, I need more poison phobies. I only have sheep. I only recently got creep, and I've just been underwhelmed. I just don't think the poison phobies are worth it for the most part. I feel poison falls off in higher leagues because of heal phobies, like people always say the important units. Exactly. Even versus undead, like, I just don't... Most of the time, at least right now, and this is something, and to Roxbridge's point, this is something that I could see changing just as the levels grow, that the poison is more relevant, or as, we get access to more phobies via stress level unlocks and things such as that. That some of these things will end up changing my opinion on them, because, until heal phobies came into the picture, like until I unlocked Clinico, and I still only have Clinico, until I started seeing muffins and stuff, poison phobies seemed great, because it's like, yeah, I'll poison you, and that is going to damage you. Now that's not true, so as it goes into other leagues, some of these things will change, just by virtue of the way it works. Creep is nice against Murderwing and stuff. Honestly, I think Creep is better against Murderwing than, say, Stabby. I think it's okay. It's just enough, or seems to be just enough, damage that even if they heal, because Murderwing's health is so low to begin with, like, the life leech from the undead, they're not going to be able to tank through it. I think the Poison Dragon is good, but I don't have him. Yeah, Noxious is a pretty solid... where's Noxious? Isn't Noxious 6? Am I blind? It's a 5 cost? Oh, I could have sworn Noxious was 6, but either way. Yeah, I like Noxious. I think this one's pretty solid. I think Noxious is pretty solid. It often feels like it's difficult. Like, you have to honor it. Noxious is probably the best poison phobia. Also, my only poison phobia is a sheep, sadly. Yeah, I think Noxious is probably the best poison phobia. Poison's in a weird spot, because unless it activates at the end of the Poisoner's turn, as opposed to the Poison E or the poisoned unit's turn, thereby not giving them the opportunity to deal with the first tick. In which case, like, then this becomes somewhat busted, because this is like a 600 damage AoE attack. Like, that's insane. All the poison phobias would have to get reworked. Sheep would actually be bonkers, because it's like, take 1200. Okay, yeah, that's really good on a 4 cost. The way it's currently structured is poison is probably always going to be bad, unless it comes with added stuff. I keep clicking off it, but, like, Noxious is ranged, and it's an AoE, so it gives you this extra stuff. Purple poison OP, disease? I don't think it's OP. Most of the disease is very low numbers, as it should be. I don't think it's overpowered, but it's definitely very good. There's only 3 in the game right now. It's Smiley, it's Foul, who I can't show you because it's a stress unlock, and Biscotti. I had to think for a second. It's definitely very strong. You can win through it. And they're all very unique. Honestly, I would not expect to see a lot of disease phobies going forward. I would expect that we would not see a lot of disease going forward. If they rework it, yeah, it's tough to talk about that stuff, Izumi. I mean, I don't mind it, but it's one of those, well, if they rework it, it could be anything. It could even be a boat. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever they rework it to, obviously, they're going to put the thought into it. They're not just going to change stuff on a whim. But we have no idea what it could be. So if we have no idea, like, we're just making stuff up. You know what I mean? Which is fun to think about, don't get me wrong. But if they rework poison like we were talking about, a whole lot of things have to change. It's not like, oh, they flipped the switch on poison when it triggers. Okay, have fun, everybody. Because then poison would be broken. Like, it would actually be oppressive, I think, if it activated it at a different time. That sort of thing. So, it's fun to think about, but honestly, the balance feels pretty good, with the exception of the whole being under or over leveled thing. But we're never going to get away from that, because that is their business model. I've talked about this before. It sucks, but that's how they make money. And they need to make money to keep the lights on, right? What if poison couldn't be cured for one turn? So, you could do stuff like that. I think the bigger problem, and I know you're joking around, Roxbridge, but just to think about it for a second, the problem with that is it just makes the game more complicated. So aside from a balance perspective, the other thing you always have to consider with all this stuff, similar to the in-game economy, like I said, they got to make money, right? The vast majority of the Phobies player base is not a sweat lord. They're not playing this game and grinding until they hit Sum of All Fears 3. Like, they're just not. They're just screwing around. They're playing the game while they're pooping. Like, that's what they're doing. So, if that is the case, you don't want to make things too complex to turn them off, because you'd rather have, well, whales are great because they keep the game funded. You'd rather have like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, hopefully millions of people playing Phobies and chipping in a few bucks, because then it's more likely to get a few bucks out of people than it is to have one person drop 50 grand, right? So you don't want to do things. Plus, the wider base, the more people that are interested in playing, like, they are the product that you are selling to the whales. So if the whales are not interested in playing because they don't have people to play against, anyone to show off their cool toys to, they're going to stop paying. And then that's the problem. So I know, like, the suggestion was tongue-in-cheek, but just putting it out there for people watching this on YouTube later, that sort of thing. I think Phobies balance is fine just right now. I never feeling tilted or something in the game, just kind of angry when I meet too high of a level. I mean, I get tilted if I go on a losing streak, but hours later I'll calm down and I'll be like, you know what? I screwed up. I deserve to lose those games. Are you going to buy Dreadful Pack again with the coffee? I'm hoping by the end of the season I can get a Dreadful Pack, yes. But we need another 500 coffee in the next 20 days. We'll see. If we do, that's what I'm going for. Just make Dimensional Phobies take poison as burst damage, 2 birds. That is a possible suggestion. I think you'd have to also still rework some things, because you run into the issue of, like, okay, well, you probably have to buff the health of some of the Dimensional Phobies in to compensate, right? But then what happens at low levels when somebody has no poison phobies? Do they just lose? Like, and just get crapped on? Now, you could say, well, let them level up, let them get better, get a better collection, blah, blah, blah. But again, that turns off people at lower levels. It gets complicated. It's not that you can't do those things. It's just there are more evaluations and more data points that factor into it beyond just the balance. Phobies is kind of underrated right now. Phobies deserves more attention. Phobies deserves more attention. And it comes down to the player base helping evangelize it too, honestly. At low level, Stabby is still crapping on the same players right now. Possibly, yeah. Honestly. I could definitely see it. Alright, so we're jumping into a viewer-submitted game review. We have our hero Nite indicating that they went up against Vladimir here. And Vlad is currently level 99. That's a pretty high, that's a fairly high stress level. You know, it seems okay. But our hero here is only level 39, so the clear underdog. Let's jump into the replay. So we're zoning into Rush Hour, question mark? I'm pretty sure this is Rush Hour, which is a map that has since rotated out. Stress level 39 win against 99 GG, yep. So we see an interesting opener here from our blue player. In the blue trunks, it's our hero, Nite. And over here in the top right, in the orange trunks, we have the bad guy. It is Vlad. So, isn't 99 the highest stress level at the moment? I believe that is the case, Titanium. I'm fairly certain, because I'm assuming 100 is the max. I don't know for sure, but I imagine it is. So we have a unique opener from our blue player, because typically on this map we were seeing Murder Wings capping these points and then something coming down here. Instead we see a 1-1 opener and then a bank to 7. So I imagine there's a pterodactyl or something similar coming out for 7 keys this turn. Now our orange player has followed up with a plethora of small units, but instead I was wrong. It was not pterodactyl. It was Motherlode, who is one of the MVPs, so I should have seen that coming. Now, given that our orange player is stress level 99, we have to assume that all of these things are super high. Like, this is a level 17 Razor Mouth. Why is it? Usually it lets you click and it rotates the card. Well, whatever. This is a level 18 Creep. This is a level 17 Contortio. Like, going up and whacking this is bold, because it's just going to eat this other cat alive. But we do see a blue panic point advantage early on, and a retreat from some of the less expensive phobies away from this Motherlode. Motherlode, the mommy of boom, kerbloom, and kaboom. Yeah, I think that's probably true. It's probably true. So clearly we see the cat, eliminate the cat, and then we have a Maggie follow-up. The bank to Motherlode is very interesting. I wonder if this is Nite's typical opener on this map, or large maps in general, or was this something that, hey, I'm zoning in against this person, I know that they're stress level 65 billion, I need some big answers. Regardless, we see the retreat from the Ray Chargels. What level is this Ray Chargels? I have to imagine it's huge. This is a level 16 Ray Chargels. It's doing over 1,000 damage at a clip to any mechanical phobies. Oh, and by the way, it has over 1,700 health. It's a big boy. So, Ray here is going to take down the Contortio, and we see the follow-up Contortio go ahead and reclaim the point. We're now seeing things flip into the orange player's favor as far as panic points go. Creep has made the long trek to the bottom to contest the Stabby, and honestly, if I didn't already know the outcome, I would say this is looking real bad for our blue player, because our orange player has banked to 7 keys. They have mostly a board advantage, although they are giving up this creep down here. You always have to be careful of the pocket jar, just sniping things, which honestly, compared to other maps where jar positioning and jar being involved in a lot of the map is very important, on Rush Hour, it feels like jar's primary purpose is to come out and snipe something in one of these pocket panic points. Now, the Motherlode does have to take some lava damage in order to accomplish this, which is not spectacular. Now we have a lot, like 4 out of the 5 panic points going orange, and we see a follow-up Mr. Tramples. Oh god, how big is this Mr. Tramples? This is a level 18 Mr. Tramples, pouring on over 800 damage a clip. Oh, and by the way, 800 plus damage Bull Rush. Somebody is... When you talk about getting hit by a truck, the license plate right now says Mr. Tramples. So, what do we got here? How is blue player going to pull this back? They got to kill this Ray Chargels. But the Maggie, Mr. Tramples, and Jar can actually put a hurt on a lot of this. So we see a defensive position come out. And then we see a Primate follow-up. How did he pull this off? I don't know, Zumi. I'm anxious. 23-turn game, so we'll see. So the Primate follow-up, there's a lot of damage here that has the potential to come out. Now, we're seeing a very aggressive Mr. Tramples play here. Mr. Tramples goes in just to snipe this lone Phobie. But, admittedly, Mr. Tramples has, what? Over 26k? Or 2.6k? Not 26k, that would be ridiculous. 26,000 health? 2.6k health. It's not likely that it dies. The Jar and Maggie reposition in order to soften up the Stabby, but the Stabby is effectively, like, out of play for a little while. Like, I don't know how... The Stabby was nice to snipe this creep, but the creep was there because of the Stabby, so it's like, I don't know. Instead, in the meantime, we see Motherload going ham on this Ray Chargels. I imagine, yeah, we're either going to get this or we're going to get something from the top supplementing it. But we see the elimination on Ray Chargels, which is key. Then we see the follow-up Hevo, which allows some supplemental damage on the Mr. Tramples, which is now down to a meager 2,200 health. Now, this is only an 1,100 health Motherload at this stage. This is for 1,200? Really? So how does this Motherload not just die? The Mr. Tramples is trapped. It can't escape, but it should just be able to walk up, punch the Motherload, and then they could... Wait, what? Whoa, why? Why? I don't know. Jad, I think we know how this game turned, because going Heart here... Granted, our blue player is... under half now. The majority of the panic points are orange. But in this case, I absolutely think you kill the Motherload. Because otherwise, they're going to counter-kill Mr. Tramples, and you got, what, 1,600 damage out of it? That's not, you know, anything to sneeze at, but I don't know that that's worth it. This feels pretty aggressive. Because clearly this is going to die. We're getting a reclaim by the Primate. We're going to get the kill on the Maggie here. I have to assume Nite pops out something in order to reclaim this point. It's in a Hevo 2.0. So now, how the turntable. Because we're looking at a lot of... Like, this is actually turning around. We do have... Come on, game. Trying to click on it here. You're killing me. You're breaking my flow. We have 3,000 health left. 3,000 health left, but we still have the ability on Motherload Live. We still have the ability on Hevo 2.0. I mean, it just came out. The Leap will be back online from this Primate. We actually get a follow-up, a counter Motherload from our orange player. Honestly, I didn't really agree with the Mr. Tramples dive to begin with, but I absolutely think you gotta kill Motherload. Like, you can't just let it be there. Because now, it's... I don't think it can die. This was a great boop, though. Hold on, we gotta go back and talk about this boop. We'll let this replay, but this was a great boop. Because it ends up pushing the Hevo 1.0. Yeah, 345 damage Jar, LOL is right. But the Hevo ends up going into enemy territory and just gets annihilated. Just absolutely flattened here. And everything is protected. Wait, does this live? Okay, maybe it doesn't get flattened. Maybe the Hevo lives. It lives! Just shy on the damage here. What did it live with? Lives with 234 health. That sucks. But we do have a majority panic points going blue. We're gonna, I guess, get a kill on this Primate? This Hevo is not gonna survive, right? Like, there's no point in trying to run it away unless you straight up ran it all the way away. In which case, it probably still dies to something in the near term anyway. So we're going to see a bunch of damage go onto the stabby. The stabby goes down. Now this flips the panic points back into Orange's favor and puts more pressure on their heart once again. And we have a follow-up Honey Bear, which I know is a crowd favorite here on the live stream. Which, by the way, if you want to see some live Phobies action, go ahead and check out RTChompGG over on Twitch. Link in the description. You can also check out the Discord if you want to join some Phobies events or get your games reviewed. But I was busy doing, this shameless self-promotion. But, look at this. Boom, baby. And then we're going to get the follow-up onto their Motherlode with the double Hevo action. Okay, we're going to get one Hevo hit. Then a second Hevo hit. Then a jar hit. Not where I expected it, though. Could they have gotten this? No, this has 2,000 health. There was no way they were killing us. All right, I understand. But the enemy Motherlode is still primed and ready to go. Honey Bear! I changed my mind on Honey Bear. Didn't know it affected panic points. Yup. It'll also disable traps. Not that it matters in this particular game, but just keep that in mind. So we don't see the fight. We see the retreat from Motherlode, but it didn't... Did it just whiff an attack here? It just walked away. It didn't attack. It could have attacked. So this has 600 health. They could have killed this Motherlode. Oh no. Not like this. Not like this. The Motherlode could have killed this and then walked away. And then gotten the heal. Oh no. That's rough. That's brutal. So we see the Motherlode escape disaster yet again. It's like an action movie. Just by the skin of its teeth. Does Motherlode have teeth? Does it have skin? Never mind. Don't answer those questions. I don't actually want to know. So anyway, we now have 0 keys to 0 keys. And we have a blue panic point advantage, although one of them is covered in mud at the moment. Oof. Chat. This was savage. This was a really, really strong comeback. This was a strong comeback, and I honestly think the tables turned, or as the meme goes, the turntable, with the Mr. Tramples play. Async or Arena, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and check, player. I'm assuming Arena, but I don't know for sure. But at this stage, this game is over. The Motherlode can't come out. The Honey Bear is not going to do anything to all these. Just brutal. Absolutely brutal. But well played. Well played not panicking and capitalizing on your opponent's mistakes. I've said this many times before, but Phobies is a sort of game where you don't necessarily have to make a really great play with Miss Moffat, or an incredible play with Heartbreaker, or Rambolina, or Hevo 2.0, or any of these other displacement effects or other abilities. If it's Honey Bear, I turn off a bunch of tiles, I invade, and then this happens, and I do this. No, sometimes it's just you make less mistakes than your opponent and capitalize when they make an error. And I think that's what we saw here. There were a couple turns where things could have gone differently and actually ended up in our orange player's favor, but instead, blue player held fast and took it down, so GG. So thank you to Nite for submitting this game. If you're interested in getting your own games reviewed, you can check the link in this YouTube description, check out the Randoms Thoughts Discord, or like I mentioned earlier, come on over to the Randoms Thoughts live stream, RTChompGG, over on Twitch. I would have tilted myself as soon as I saw the level difference. Well, you don't see it until afterwards. I don't think you see the level. Do you when you zone in? Now I'm second guessing myself. I don't know if you see their level when you zone in. I only do it in Arena. I don't play much async, so I don't know. It's probably the same. All right, we can probably get one more. We'll get DT's review in. If you see a level 18 foot, I mean, yes, that kind of gives it away, Roxbridge. I agree with you. Because I played that person as well, Vladimir. I've beaten them as well. There were some other people that are in a similar boat where, like, their phobies. I remember specifically going up against a level 17 jar, and I'm like, what in God's name am I supposed to do against this? Like, what exactly is it I'm supposed to do? You can see the enemy phobia level in async? Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do it in Arena too, unless I'm misunderstanding what you mean, Onda. Alright, so we're jumping in. We're going to take a look at DT's replay here. We don't have quite the level disparity that we saw before, but we're zoning into Home Sweet Home. Our blue player in the top right corner, starting out on the first turn with a stabby opener, it's DT. And the bad guy over here in the orange corner, open it up with a Razor Mouth. And a Bachelor. And that's it. Just those two. All that's necessary. So we get the stabby opener, which now has become... It's evolved from meme status into monster status. Really meta status. Going first on small maps and opening with stabby seems to be a pretty strong play. It's very difficult to punish this opener. And it's not real clear yet what the appropriate response is, because we just got a map rotation as this was starting to become a thing. So we see the push from our blue player. The Eternal Nite and Cowbell are able to supplement the opener, but the bank from our orange player was for specifically Beauty. Now we get the takedown on the Eternal Nite, not all that unsurprising, and from here, I mean, this is kind of a counter. DT with the classic Eternal Nite, he is the Earl of Eternal Nite. So we're seeing a elimination of all of the support for Beauty, which is probably appropriate. Now, the answer from DT right now is both Newly Deads. In fact, we have the couple. Look at it. Look at the hearts. It's adorable. It's adorable. They love each other. Not even death do us part. For eternity. The Newly Deads are going to take roughly 6 months to get off their honeymoon and get their head in the game, so we're going to be here a little while. And in the meantime, Stabby's trying to hold down the fort against Beauty and a Jar now. Now, this Stabby is down to 800 health. So it's definitely dying this turn. And we're not going to have the Newly Deads in position to truly punish things. Now, I don't know why DT elected to walk away. The reason being is that the Jar and everything can just reposition and still get this Stabby without too much trouble. So we see a follow-up Blastomatic, which has become one of DT's signatures at this stage. And because of the positioning, excuse me, with the Newly Dead in the back here, we do get a line attack from Beauty, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. It's a Newly Dead. They're supposed to just be there to recap points. I like it when you just randomly say things like 6 months for Newly Deads to come into action. I mean, they take a while. Yeah, Blasto is pretty sick. And this is a 3,400 health Blastomatic. This is pretty sizable. It can contest this Beauty, which is now down from 2,600 to 14 and change. It is very vulnerable now. Now, there is a healing spa on this map, so it could back off. But this entire time, all of these panic points have been blue. They've been blue this whole time, and as a result... Come on, replay. We have a 3,200 health enemy heart. They need to cap points. So these Newly Deads actually are going to present a lot of challenges for our orange player. Because, great, you kill them. Who cares? You can't stand on them. There's nothing you can do about it. So we see a follow-up Clinico because clearly there's an enormous investment in this Beauty. But the Blastomatic is going to be able to tag either of these things that it decides, and it's definitely going to kill the Murder Wing. It's not definitely going to kill the Murder Wing. It was possibly going to kill the Murder Wing. It wasn't a definite. But we do see the follow-up Cassowary, which will eliminate the Murder Wing. Notably, for anybody who's confused why I was thinking that, Blastomatic's base attack is an AoE. Now, Friggin' Laser is also available here. I'm sure we'll see that come online. But we see the takedown on the Murder Wing. We still have 6 keys for both players remaining. But here's the thing. So what is our orange player going to do? They are going to elect to actually take down one of the newly deads, keeping the beauty in range to get hit twice by the Blastomatic. Now, honestly, I don't know if you can use Beauty's Behold attack on the Blastomatic in this position. Can target an enemy if its tile forms a straight line with your tile. Well, there's the answer. That would not be a straight line. So there we go. Can't do that. So the panic points have now flipped from blue to all orange. But DT has banked up an enormous life lead at this stage. And this jar, I don't know about this one. The jar did not need to be here. Like, why did this jar happen? You get the newly dead, you stand on it. I mean, they shoot the other newly dead. I'm rewinding because I don't understand why this jar advanced. Honestly, this kind of feels like, oh, my opponent, the orange player, did not realize that Blastomatic has an AoE attack. So, surprise, gotcha. Dropping the AoE on the dome piece in here, and that little skull there is going to get crushed into dust. Kablamo, got him. Bye-bye, jar. And in fact, we see a supplemental jar from DT to support the forces. And your favorite good boy and mine, it's Snowball. Shout out to my Snowball fans out there. Drop a little shish kebab action on the beauty, which in fact now goes down. And honestly, that's got to be the ball game. There's no way that our orange player is taking down Blastomatic. If jar stay there, I think it's in range of laser. So the jar was on this panic point, the one in front of Cassowary. So I don't think there was any way that a straight line could have been drawn for the laser. Because it's the same targeting restrictions as Beauty's line attack. So that means that if the Blastomatic walked up to this panic point, it couldn't shoot. If it goes here, it wouldn't have been able to do the laser, and obviously it couldn't swing down here for the same reason. So I don't see a reason to advance the jar. The problem is that ultimately I think they can't have the beauty where it was. Yes, you needed to remove that newly dead, but that answer needed to happen like 3 turns ago. And that's one of the big things in Phobies that a lot of people may not realize, is that a lot of the time your problem now is caused by your mistake 3 turns ago. So because you were out of position, or you didn't reinforce, or you reinforced when you should have banked, that leads to your current issue of my forces are on the other end of the map. They're not in position to actually do damage when my opponent invades, or I can't invade, or their panic points aren't claimed, or whatever. That's basically what it amounts to. If you don't try and plan ahead, at least to, you're not going to predict everything your opponent's going to do, but you have to consider it somehow, or this is what happens to you. So we once again see our hero raising their banner on all of the panic points. We have the Blastomatic about to just tee off on a heart that can't possibly have more than like 100 health left. In fact, it has close to 1,000. Just making numbers up. But it doesn't matter because this heart is not long for the world. This was pretty well played by DT, and it goes to showcase how you can answer a early high-level phobie, or a high-key phobie. In fact, we even get the friggin' laser to close it out. You gotta appreciate a light show at the end of the game, right? It's a friggin' laser. So GG, and shout out to DT for submitting this game, and I'll repeat it like I always do if you're interested in getting your own games reviewed. Check out the Discord link in this YouTube video description, or !Discord on the live stream over on Twitch, RTChompGG. But this was a fun game. This is a pretty cool game. So again, shout out to DT for submitting this one. I'm glad we got to look at that one. Because this is very scary, honestly. Like, you could definitely go, oh my god, there's a beauty and it's like turn 3. What am I going to do? Don't panic. That's step 1. Don't panic. Step 2, if your opponent's banking like that, they're giving you some advantages, and we saw DT appropriately address the situation by claiming all those panic points and holding them for so long. The beauty needed to put in a ton of work, and it was starting to, I was doubting the newly deads, but it did offer a few different options. One, multiple resurrecting Phobies, even though they took a while to get into the fray. Two, it allowed for better key manipulation, as in you could bank, you could get other things because they're not as costly. If you went for like Jackalopes, it chews through your keys with less bodies. The beauty is not going to be able to necessarily answer multiple bodies despite the AoE because all of the keys are invested in a single Phobie. So, like I said, definitely a good showcase for how to address some of these things. That's going to do it for this time. So, as always, everybody, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and Black Lives Matter.